Hey everyone, thank you for watching. I hope some people will join just on their own. I want to invite some people before I really get started. I hope everyone's well. I wanted to also say that my foot is not broken. It is just sprained, but it hurts very badly. Um, so that's good. My foot's not broken. It's just sprained. Um, and we'll get started in 1 second. And please let me know if, for whatever reason, you guys can't hear me. I'm pretty quiet and shy-ish. But hold on. Okay. All right. So last night was the PA-5 Democratic or Delaware County Democratic Committee nominating convention for the PA-5 congressional district. Yes, Alyssa, this is a rundown from last night. And thank you, Brian. So kind of where do I start? What really, so it started out with hopes, with an idea for like a open primary, where so no votes would be made, no nominations, nothing. And I think while it was what a majority of the people wanted, it unfortunately wasn't a majority of what the committee people wanted, which I think is so. What it feels like to me is like the superdelegates and delegates voting during the DNC nominating convention. That's what it feels like to me exactly. And I think that's wrong. I think it should be left up to the people, but regardless, that's how they voted. Not happy about that. Because to me, it shows a lack of trust in the voters of their communities themselves. And I think that's wrong. I think they should trust them to make their own choices and decisions. And really, after there was 5 rounds, so like after the first couple of rounds, you had a bunch of people kind of drop out like one by one. Like you had George Beatty drop out, or bow out, Lindy Lee bow out, Shelley Chauncey bow out, which I actually want to talk about what she did. Uh, she's not going to be the only candidate I talk about, but you had Larry Arada bow out. You had you had Greg Vitale bow out. They're all still in the race. They just bowed out of the nominating convention because they didn't make enough votes. Sorry. That's just me trying to move and my foot hurting while doing so. So basically, by the second to last round, there were 3 people in the running. They were okay. Thank you, Alyssa. So Beatty and Chauncey totally dropped out. Oh, thank you for saying that. So Shelley Chauncey, what she did is she bowed out, but then she made this speech about people. I'm doing something. She made this speech about a lot being said last night about like identity politics and people not voting on issue by issue, and then she goes and implores all the people who voted for her then to vote for Ashley Lunkenheimer. For those of you who don't know, let me explain. She is a woman yes, but she's also an out lesbian. So what she did was essentially say, yes, vote for identity, not progressive policy. That's a little condescending. A little condescending, much. So by the end, by the final round, or the last second to last round, you had three people. As I was saying, you had Molly, Ashley Lunkenheimer, and Mary Gay Scanlon. And I'm not going to go into so much detail as to say, like, my preferred candidate, but I do want to highlight what Molly did at the end that a lot of people are saying that they don't like or didn't like. And I actually think that it was awesome what she did. And this is not me defending her, okay? So let's take that back a step. This is me and my idea about what she did and why it's a good thing. So what she did was she dropped out of the final count, and what she did was she employed people who voted for her to abstain. Now, if you remember, I said there was an idea or a call to vote in an open primary. It failed, but there was that call at the very beginning. Well, there was that call basically because the people or those there of that committee person's constituents wanted that to happen. Okay? Now, what Molly's speech did was effectively gave the people an open primary by not relinquishing the people who voted for her to allow them to vote for someone else, effectively giving one candidate in the final, I guess, voting segment an option to win or become nominated. So as a result, at the end of the night, no one was nominated, meaning there was still pretty much simply an open primary. So a lot of people don't like that she did that because they're saying, like, oh, it created a failed it just wasn't right. Wasn't right for the democratic process or anything like that. Well, see, that's where I think you're entirely wrong, because if you think about it, the democratic process is to give people the right to vote, give people the right to vote for where they feel they should, who they feel is the most qualified. And that's exactly what Molly did. And I'm not talking committee people. I'm not talking special people. I'm talking normal people. I'm talking myself. I don't hold a political position or office, whatever. I have many political positions. But I think that, I think that really what she did was honorable and right and good. So, I mean, at this point, please, I'm just going to end with this. Like, don't vote on identity, because, as we all know, we have an orangutan in the White House. We have, I call him Trump Thin Skin. So don't vote on identity, because that's not why the people who voted for Trump voted for him. Vote for people based on policy, based on their stances, based on who they take PAC money from. Because I don't want anyone as beholden to the financial industry as they might be to, say, as a candidate might be, say, to the NRA. So please, that's all I'll implore to you. Look up their FEC reports. They came out recently. If you haven't read those, read them. It might be a little eye-opening. All right? But that's my take on the whole thing that happened last night. Oh, another thing, actually. So Joe Sestak talked. I'll be honest, I don't know too much about him, but I do know that he held this position's office from 2001 to 2007, and he's endorsed George Beatty, and at a different candidate forum. I mean, I know last night wasn't a candidate forum, but at a different candidate forum, Beatty basically said that I don't think a woman can win this district or win this race. When other men who were asked the same question before him answered it a little bit more delicately, saying they support women's issues. They will be the most ardent supporter of them. He could have answered it that way, and he didn't. And Joe Sestak came to basically talk on his behalf, which was kind of a little, it's like, just like salt, just poured on a wound. Burning. I don't know. Just something like poured on a wound that burns. So that's just my take on that. What else am I missing from last night? Trying to go back. I don't think I'm really missing anything from last night, but that's my take. I hope you all have kind of enjoyed this video, but I'll leave it at that. All right, guys, have a good day. I will be here resting my foot. Bye.